They didn't sugarcoat it or anything. She was like, well, we have to make money for rent. And I say, well, what do you mean by make money for rent and food? And, you know, she said, I'm gonna teach you how to survive.
Just give me the name that you want me to use.
Kayla.
Let's kind of start back at the beginning.
Okay.
When this all began for you and how it began.
My mother passed away when I was 7 years old. Me and my siblings got split up, and I went with an older cousin. And back then, with losing my mom, I was really going through a very hard time, and I was cutting from the age of 8 till 13.
Sure.
She didn't find me doing that until I was around 12. She walked into my room, saw me cutting my wrist. She basically didn't help me. She called 911, they 5150 me. From being 5150, I went into an adolescent mental institution. When I was better, they called, they told her I was better. I was ready to go home, and she said they're dead there on the phone and said she doesn't have a home here anymore. That's when everything started really getting more dramatic for me. I had family that would have took me in. She refused to give up the information, and that's when they said they had no other choice but to put me in the system. I went to juvenile hall. From juvenile hall, I went to several group homes, several foster cares, and you know, being in the system is really a messed up situation. Nasty, dirty things happen to you in the system, in foster care, even in a group home. I was molested, I was raped, I was I was taken from my childhood, basically. She took me to a guy house, and basically that guy wasn't a boyfriend like she said it was. It was a pimp. And that's when I learned how to prostitute. Basically, they taught me everything that I needed to know on how to survive out in the streets. And I kid you not, she dressed me up in a mini skirt, some high heel shoes, threw a wig on my head, and she told me, you know, that this is daddy, this is not my boyfriend. I've slept with probably over, you know, 3,000 guys. In one night, maybe 250 guys.
In one night?
It depends on what area you're in, what location you're in. If you're in a good area, people will give us, you know, $200, $300 just for an hour or two.
Was this an every night thing, or were there?
We had no break. I was working 7 days a week. I knew it wasn't right. I knew it wasn't right, but I had no way to find help. I knew I could have went, you know, to the police, but then there's my life right there. Just going to them, you know, giving up the name, and not even giving up the name because most of us didn't know their real names. They wouldn't give us any, they were very secretive about certain things and certain way that they move. So to be honest, I wanted out really bad, but didn't know how.